When you were young, you must make an important decision. You must choose. What type of kid are you going to be? A construction vehicle kid? Train kid? Dinosaur kid? Retracts kid? Luckily, Transformers has something for all of these. And when I was young, I picked Dinosaur. So it's no surprise that Grimlock, the most dinosaur transformer, was always my favorite. But what if I told you there was something cooler than one dinosaur? Perhaps two dinosaur? Maybe even three. But what if I told you today we'll be looking at 6 dinosaur? I bet these dinosaurs not only each turn into a robot, but all combine into one giant robot?
Whoa.
We're going to start with one of the first 2 to come out, and coincidentally the worst. Not a great start. It's Sludge. Starting in Brontosaurus mode, it's not looking great. I suppose the paint's kind of nice, but I don't know. Like, this leg is so much bigger than this front one's, and there's no articulation anywhere. Completely static. It's kind of gappy here. And his head is just hollow. Come on, you can... A couple pennies, spare a couple pence just to fill in this weird little hole here. He's also the only figure in this whole set that doesn't have an accessory. That's weird. But I mean, yeah, like, you know, some cool mechanically detail all around, I suppose. I mean, I kind of like his head. It's kind of a nice sculpt there, you know. In robot mode, he's probably the worst out of any of them, really. The shortest one, too. Being part of a combiner clearly cost him a lot. I mean, the way his arms are just weirdly out, the way his legs aren't really attached. Like, what is this? I mean, we got the head swivel. We got the arms on, you know, kind of a ball joint. And those legs that we just looked at, not really posable, anything of those legs. Released at the same time as Sludge was, I'm going to go with Slug for the British people watching. And this Triceratops mode, it's looking pretty nice. Before we get too into it, I just want to show you the size difference between him and Sludge. Look at that. I mean, really, these are the same prices. They're both like $12 when they came out. I don't know how this thing happened. What's this? The mouth can open? Too much? But, you know, you can open it just a little bit. Every single leg is articulated. Like, this thing is just... It's night and day between this guy and Sludge. I do think the tail looks very weird. But we'll get to that later. 'Tis a reason for that. But you know what? He's really nice. Maybe one of the best dino modes of any of these, really. He's looking decent in robot mode. They're definitely better in this set. But you know what? He's not horrible. Now, there is parts forming of the tail to become his gun. That's something every single one of these toys besides Sludge does. I don't really love parts forming, but I mean, I don't hate it here, you know. These are core class. They're kind of small. They're kind of, you know, not too expensive, so some parts forming isn't too bad. Oh, this guy's hands are a little tiny. I don't know what's up with that. You know, just the way they had to do it. Looked a little small. Kind of funny. But he's got some decent articulation, I guess. You know, hands can move. So if you want to do his gun, you have to stick it straight out, which is a little lame. But legs are very nicely articulated. Got all sorts of kind of nice poses with these legs. And the head can swivel. I think the head's a little tiny, honestly. But you can move that Triceratops head and the normal head at once. Next up, we have Grimlock. And I mean, this dino mode is just great. Oh. I'm not exactly sure why it's like that. I mean, not in any of these 3 modes did his tail need to be so big and wide. I don't really know. But I mean, that's not super bad. If that's the worst thing you can say about this, not horrible. I do wish he could open his little dinosaur mouth, though, or move these hands, but I mean, I guess there are other Grimlock figures that can do that. But you can move his legs, so you can kind of get maybe some walking. I feel like if there's just one more joint right there, so that foot could bend, and the arms would look better with that, too. Here we have Grimlock in robot mode. Looking pretty decent. I feel like I say that a lot in this video, but it's true. I mean, again, I don't know if these legs needed to be that large. But they do pose, you know, just as nice as Slug did. I suppose because they're so big, you can maybe get some better balance on those big feet. So, I mean, at least there's that. I do also kind of wish, basically every one of these figures, tail is the gun. And I mean, then you have a gun that looks kind of strange, and the tail looks kind of strange. Would have been nice if they all got just their own weapon, because, spoiler alert, one of them does get just his own weapon. Only one. Kind of weird. And of course, we got that tiny bit of arm movement, same as the leg. And, you can swivel that head around. Again, I kind of feel like the heads are kind of tiny on these guys. But you know what? Next up, we have Swoop. This Dino mode isn't amazing. I mean, it kind of looks alright. I feel like it looks like there's no lower jaw. There is, if you look kind of closely, but, like, this is just in there. There was a jaw here, like a big jaw. Cover that. Add some life to this dinosaur mode. And, I mean, there's some tiny toes down there, but then it's like, if you look at those, you're going to have to see his robot arms are there, and the head's just there. I don't know. I do love the weapon storage here. We got some guns just mounted on there. And these are my favorite weapons out of any in the set. We'll see that in robot mode. Robot mode's looking great. Maybe the best out of any of these, actually. Like, I kind of feel like you might not be able to tell this thing transforms. It's not like there's any kibble or anything besides the wings. Like, it's all just like just a regular action figure. And now, those two guns on the wings can be held in the hands and look really nice. I mean, there's something in the combined mode, but somehow I think better than any of the others, this just looks like some guns. Articulation is decent. We got, that leg moving that looks a little weird because of that. Now, the arms, for some reason, I want to see if I can zoom up on this. These ball joints are crunchy. They're textured. I suppose to have more friction, and no, oh, this one's falling off. They're kind of annoying, honestly, to move around sometimes. Not like too annoying. They're just a little. They're tough. And we have this peg here that really doesn't work in any of the modes. Honestly, it's kind of in the way. But you know what? We got the head spinning, head looking up. All in all, this one has some pretty nice posing you can do. Next up, we have Scar, looking pretty nice in Dino mode. Oh, sorry. Dang it! Guys, what were they thinking here? That's straight up just a hand. And this is a dinosaur famous for having, a big mace tail. And they just made it a hand with one spike. Come on. Like, they messed up because this piece isn't really a great hand. It's not a great gun, and it's not a great tail. But besides that, not a horrible robot mode. We got, some movement. We do kind of have that thing where it's like, oh, why are the back legs so much bigger? But you know what? I mean, at least they move around. You got some articulation. Nothing on the head. The head's looking kind of nice. Looking very dino. And of course, we've got that sort of armored hide up here. Armor hide reference? Yeah, very spiky. But not so spiky it hurts. I mean, if you stepped on it, it'd probably hurt. But, not horrible. Is this Scar's first toy? I think this might be Scar's first toy as the 6th Dinobot. I remember when they revealed there was going to be, it was 6-part combiner. It was kind of fun to theorize who's going to be the 6th one. I was hoping it was going to be one of the AoE Dinobots, like his name's Scorn or Strafe or something. But I think Scar, honestly, I think this was the right pick to do. Scar in robot mode's looking kind of great. I think his head's maybe a little tiny, like a lot of the other ones. But you know what? He's a pretty nice robot. We've got that same articulation as many of the others have on the legs that allows for some nice posing. And those same weird little crinkly joints. For some reason, only Scar and Swoop have them. And his weirdly aren't as tight. But you know what? This is another one I kind of wish there was another joint here, just so this gun was just pointing straight out. But you know what? Hands, very nice, and all that. Decent robot mode. Next up, we have Snarl. Dino mode is pretty alright. Although, no articulation, very static. And why it look like he's sniffing the ground? I don't know. Not the worst Dino mode, but he might be up there. Again, very gappy. He's very much taking after this man right here. They're very similar, them two. Now this man comes with a little knife that isn't part of the combiner, and it's really small, and it plugs in here, and I lost it. I'm really sad. Oh my goodness. I had it in that little combiner hand for so long, and as soon as I need to record a video, it's just where to go. I don't know. Like, it's very weak weapon. It's very weak weapon storage down here. Just a tiny little hole that it didn't really fit in. So he's gone. But imagine, if you will, a very small sword down there. Yeah, looks nice. Very spiky. You know, he's very nicely detailed, very nicely painted. The Autobot symbol, they actually got it on there. Very rarely do I see an Autobot symbol or Decepticon symbol printed somewhere on 2 pieces, and it actually looks good. Robot mode's pretty nice. I think second only to Swoop. I mean, he's got no problems. He's got some nice joints, you know, not too tight, not crunkly or whatever it was. Articulation's nice, you know, move the head. There's a waist swivel on, I think, all of these guys. I've been forgetting to mention. You know, I think the arms are limited because you can't push them out. You can only do like that, which is weird, or up. And the legs are, you know, maybe a little worse than the other ones, articulation leg-wise. But you know what? It works. He can be posed, and he looks really nice as a robot. Where's his sword? I can't believe I lost it. Alright, let's get these Dinobots combined into Volcanicus. Starting with Slug, we're going to take off the tail. Then, I'm gonna, like, open that out. Hook this, open these. Take the leg. It's gonna be tabs there. And then this can go back. And sometimes it has a little trouble, like, getting around the arms, which is super annoying. Okay, so get it like that. Then, take this and reveal his gun. Those aren't 2 prongs. Those are the head of Volcanicus. So we take that, plug that in there, and then we set this aside. Because next, we're going to take Sludge, crack that open, and then, you know, basically start transforming him to robot mode. Push those out. Which is why his feet aren't like that. Put these up. And then stick that right there. Then we're going to take Slug. Put these arms a little bit. And this will just go right in there. And get everything nicely clicking together. Now, get these lined up. Push them in. Alright, who's next? Oh yeah, and you gotta flip this. I almost forgot. Now what's really annoying is this thing right here. What is that here for? It's here to mess it up, because it'd look way better if this could go over there, but no. They stop it so that it looks weird. And like that. There we go. Alright, we're gonna take Grimlock. Break off his tail gun. Open this. Start moving these inwards. Snap that in. Then push this forward. You know, like raise that up. Take this, it becomes the heel of his foot. Very cool. And then this is gonna go right there. Right there in Volcanicus. Next, we're gonna take Swoop. Pull that down. Give it a twist. Take off these guns. Take these guns. Stick them together into a hand. Stick that hand right here. Fold up the wings. Pull this out. Snap that right on him. Alright, now we have Scar. Again. Open him up. Twist him. Very similar to the last one. And then I guess you could flip it over. Put that there. Stick the gun right there. It's a very loose connection. Wow, what a great example of how loose a connection that is. And then snap that right there. And lastly, we have Snarl, where we're gonna open that up and we have to take this off. It's kind of lame. Twist this back. Pop these arms. Interesting is this one kind of mirrors Grimlock. It's like they wanted to do the Grimlock transformation again, and then it all kind of fell apart. Okay. So now we're gonna like line these up just like Grimlock did. But then these legs go back here. And then you have to take this piece again and stick it on there. And then you have a foot to stick in. And now we have, oh my goodness, Volcanicus. Yeah! And here we have Volcanicus looking pretty nice. I mean, he does have a couple weird things. I feel like my biggest problem is just the way Snarl looks in this. Everything else, you know, is mostly gray. There's a couple splashes of red, but he's just so red. Sticking out like a sore foot. And I mean, they revealed these guys, you know, one by one. He was the final one. So, like, it was just I kind of wasn't expecting it to look just like that. And it's not very foot-shaped. Grimlock is so foot-shaped. He's got a heel back here. He's got a toe, 4 toes. He doesn't have any of that. What you can do if you don't like that is, you know, like, twist that around. I mean, that fixes the color problem, but then it doesn't, like, balance as well. It's very leaning, and it might look less like a foot. If only I could have this upside down. These could be the toes. Like, I don't know. You can see his little robot head in there smiling at me like it thinks this whole thing's a game of hide and seek. The other problem is that this hand is on the smallest of connections. Always falling off. I think it fell off in the video. I was transforming him into Volcanicus. You saw that. Like, it just does not stay on. Sometimes I'll just move, you know, different part of it or just fall right off. It's so hollow, too. Come on. Other hand, at least, isn't hollow. It was kind of better. Okay, now I do like how these are all on a standard Transformers port, the kind that fits into most Transformers' hands and stuff. So, you know, you can kind of mix and match, although, well, the thumb on this hand. And the big problem with that is that these hands, for some reason, both of them are on these, like, weird pegs, and they're not the same pegs. Other hands on different pegs, worse pegs. Like, couldn't they have just used the standard port so that these hands could be connected to other Transformers? You know, there's no way to make another Transformer. Like, you'd have to give it this same weird little pin. It just doesn't really work. And these hands, they're like on the inside. I believe people call this like gorilla arms that some Transformers have. Like, it doesn't look great. Put them on the end. Just have a tab on the end and stick that right there and look better. So that's another complaint. But let's get into some positive stuff. Articulation on this guy, decent. We got the head twist, arms. Now, because of the way his arms are inside, it looks weird. It's hard to pose him. Like, I don't know how to really, like a punch, yeah, you know, I guess. But I feel like it kind of limits things to look a little stranger. And then legs, we got some pretty nice, you know, he can do some high kicks. And nice, oh my goodness. And he got that waist swivel. Very nice. You could sort of get him into some poses like this. It's kind of nice. You know, with your leg, good arm punching up. So there's some posing options. You can figure it out. But it would have been kind of nice if they each had, like, combinable weapons. So we had, like, a giant sword or something. But overall, you know, it's just fine. You can give him any old weapon you got. But yeah, this figure looks really nice. I really like him. Wow. I'm not really sure what else to say about him, but it's a Volcanicus, guys. Here he is next to Voyager Galvatron. So I'd say he's basically Voyager-sized. I mean, even Galvatron's a little bit taller than him by like a head, but close enough. Here he is next to Studio Series 86 Grimlock. And for reference, this guy was about $70 altogether. This guy was about $50 when it came out. So he feels a little short price-wise, but you know, he is 6 times as many robots, 6 times as many dinosaurs as him. So, depending on how you look at it, it could actually be quite the steal. That's about it for this guy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a bit of a longer video. And watch out, because my next video I'm planning is going to be even longer. But yeah, what did you guys think about Volcanicus? Let me know in the comments below.